welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and I am a skincare formulator, and this channel is going to be all about skincare formulation. So today I'm making a coconut passion body butter. Now this is an emulsified body butter, but I have kept it on the simple side so anybody can follow along from any level of formulation experience. This butter contains coconut oil, passionfruit seed oil, mango butter, shea butter, and a few other really hydrating and moisturizing ingredients. I've been using this butter for some time and I'm absolutely in love with it, and I'm really hoping you like it. So, starting with our water phase, I have already weighed all of my ingredients, and in this beaker I have 91.2 grams of distilled water, and to that I am adding 3 grams of glycerin, which is this one, and 7.5 grams of a 1% hyaluronic acid solution. This is really easy to make. If you're not familiar, I will link a video down below from Humble Bee and Me's channel. And like I said, it's very, very simple. And lastly, in this bowl, I have weighed out 0.15 grams of Disodium EDTA, which is our chelator. That's going to help with preservation, and 0.15 grams of citric acid. That's going to bring the pH of the emulsion down just a little bit to the ideal pH range. And that's our water phase. So moving on to our oil phase, to my beaker I am adding 6 grams of Glyceryl Stearate and PEG 100 Stearate. This is our primary non-ionic emulsifier. To that I am adding 1.5 grams of Aristoflex AVC. This is our polymeric emulsifier and gelling agent. To that I am adding 7.5 grams of Kokum Butter, 7.5 grams of mango butter, 7.5 grams of shea butter, 7.5 grams of coconut oil, and I am using unrefined, and 7.5 grams of Passionfruit Seed Oil. Don't you think we're done? And that is our oil phase. So we have our 2 phases. I'm going to throw some aluminum foil on these beakers and then put them both in a double boiler for about 15 minutes. That's going to be long enough for all of our solid ingredients to melt in the oil phase, and then also for our water phase to come to the same temperature. Okay, so our phases are heated. As you can see, all of our solid ingredients have melted in the oil phase, with the exception of the Aristoflex AVC, which is water soluble, so it will not solubilize until we add our water. So I'm going to go ahead and add the water phase to our oil phase, and then start blending with my immersion blender at low speed. So as you can see, I did a lot of short bursts in the beginning, and that's because I'm trying to avoid turbulence as much as possible, because turbulence is usually how you introduce air bubbles into a formulation. So I was using the immersion blender at low speed and using short pulses, and as you can see now we're actually getting some viscosity here. But I'm gonna keep blending for about 3 more minutes. Don't you think we're done? Make me feel alive. Take my hand and run, let me be the one. down phase consists of only 3 ingredients. So we have 0.75 grams of liquid Germall Plus, that's our preservative, 0.75 grams of vitamin E, and 1.5 grams of dimethicone. I'm using dimethicone 350. I don't think the dimethicone is totally necessary in this formulation. Even without the dimethicone, this particular emulsion has a tremendous amount of slip and glide, and that's from the combination of emulsifiers and other ingredients that we used. I'm going to include it anyway because I find that it's quite moisturizing, and I'm really trying to maximize the elegance of the formulation as much as possible. So at this point, I'm just going to be hand stirring, probably for about a minute or so. I'm not going to be using the immersion blender just because when you have this much viscosity, you run the risk of introducing air bubbles into the formulation. So I'm just going to be hand stirring, and then we will package this up. Don't you think we're done? So moving on to packaging, I am using this 4-ounce glass jar. I do have a thing for glass packaging. I try to avoid plastic as much as possible. So I'm going to fill this up, and then I will do a swatch so you can kind of try to get an idea for what the emulsion feels like on the skin, how it applies and everything. So don't you think we're done? Knew that it was true from the way you looked at me. Don't know what to do, what to say to make you leave with me. Make me feel alive. So I'm going to use what I have left over here in my beaker to try and give you an idea of how this applies and what the finish is like on the skin. So let's hope that my camera picks this up. Let's move that. So as you can see, as I mentioned, it has a tremendous amount of slip and glide, and it absorbs very quickly. So it's completely different from using something like a typical traditional anhydrous body butter, and it doesn't feel greasy on the skin at all, and it's not sticky at all. And I find it to be a much more effective moisturizer than using an anhydrous butter because this has a water component and humectants. And then I don't know if you can see this, but it does leave a somewhat glossy finish on the skin, and that's from the Aristoflex AVC, which consists of acrylates. Night's only begun. Don't you think we're done?